I first met David in 1982 in my early years as a player with the Washington Capitals. My first impression was, wow, he seems pretty young to be a general manager. However, I soon realized that he came from very deep hockey roots. His father, Bud, was a very distinguished NHL player and a Hall of Fame builder in 1990. He also had his own hockey background as a successful college player at Northeastern University. Although young, David became an innovative GM and was not afraid to make the changes that he felt were needed to give his team an edge, like trading away his captains, or future Hall of Famers, or both. I know Larry Murphy and I can attest to that, and yeah, I know Shay. I know you're shaking your head too. I understand. I can see now, though, that this was all because he was committed to winning. He wasn't afraid to make the tough choices if he felt it made the team better. That's successful leadership. David, I've known you for over 40 years, and you have the admirable character traits of a strong work ethic, determination, integrity, honesty, and consistency, all while being committed fully to your family. There would not be a conversation that I would have with you lately when Elizabeth's name would not come up, or how Lauren and Brian were doing, or certainly how the grandkids were doing. David has had an outstanding body of work as a general manager. 15 years as the general manager of the Washington Capitals, 26 years as the GM of the Nashville Predators. He is the longest tenured GM in NHL history, having served 41 consecutive seasons. He is also the winningest GM in NHL history and the only general manager to lead two separate clubs to 1,000 games and 500 wins. He was twice named the Sporting News Executive of the Year, and he was also the GM of the USA national team on several different occasions and was inducted into the U.S. Hockey Hall of Fame in 2018. David's distinguished career was marked not only by success on the ice, but by consistent leadership and well-earned respect and admiration. Please join me in welcoming David Poile as he follows in the footsteps of his father as an honored member in the Hockey Hall of Fame.
Thank you, everyone connected to the hall for this honor, which is truly the icing on the cake of my career, something that a young David Poile could never have dreamed possible back in 1972. I'm honored to share this evening with my fellow inductees who have contributed so much to this game, and which has grown because of your unique skills and your dedication and passion. Congratulations to each of you. Tonight, I want to recognize my personal group of Hall of Famers. Everything has always started with my family. It is so meaningful to be joining my father, the late Bud Poile, in the Hockey Hall of Fame. It was in 1990, and I was privileged to introduce him for his induction. My love of the game started with my mom and dad, as they provided the foundation of the person I became. My dad truly was my first mentor, teaching me the importance of loyalty, respecting the game itself, and appreciating all of the people involved in the game as priorities. I could not have asked for or found a better teammate in life than my wife, Elizabeth, who has been with me every step of the way. I was able to score the hat trick of life. Who you marry and share your journey with, the job you have, and the places you live. Elizabeth and I have been a team from Atlanta to Calgary to Washington and ultimately to Nashville. She has been the rock of our family throughout our shared hockey journey. Thank you. Here tonight, are our children, Brian and his wife Valerie and his son Wyatt, just turned 9 years old. My daughter Lauren and her husband Todd, and their daughters Ellie and Charlotte. I'm looking forward to spending a lot more time with each of you. Thank you. The second important mentor in my career was Cliff Fletcher, who gave me my start in 1972 with the Atlanta Flames. It was Cliff that taught me so many professional and life lessons that I carried through my career, including compassion and doing things the right way. I can still vividly remember bursting into Cliff's office one day with my latest trade suggestion when he sat me down and bluntly told me, "David, if you are ever so lucky to become a general manager, you will know what it feels like to trade a player, uproot his family, and change his career." Little could we have known at that time that I would go on to make the most trades ever in the history of the National Hockey League. But I always remembered Cliff's message. Just a few years later, in 1982, Dick Patrick took a chance and hired me in Washington as the youngest GM in the league. And I will forever be grateful for his belief and confidence in me. There were two more mentors that helped me immensely in Washington: our coach Brian Murray and Jack Button, our director of player personnel. It was Jack who invited a young Western Canadian defenseman to training camp my first year, not because he viewed him as a top prospect, but because Jack saw him as a potential leader. And that's how Barry Trotz came into my life. And I will never forget walking into my first GM's meeting at age 33, looking around the room and seeing the legends like Harry Sinden, Emil Francis, Bill Torrey, Cliff Fletcher, Scotty Bowman, and wondering how I got there and whether I belonged. I also recall more than one veteran GM trying to initiate me into the GM club by making what he called the deal of the year with me. But I've never found that then or today the GMs have been the group that's cared the most about the game, its history, and its growth going forward. In 1997, Jack Diller reached out to ask if I might be up for another opportunity. He then had me speak to Craig Leopold about to become the new owner of the National Expansion franchise. Craig and I had this great talk on the phone for about an hour. I think we hit it off great. I didn't find out until I was actually hired for the job that Craig did not know who I was or what job I was interested in, just that I was enthusiastic and knew a lot about hockey. So much for 15 years as a general manager. It's a humbling experience. What a ride it became, and I'm forever grateful to Craig and to Jack for allowing me to be part of building a franchise from scratch, as my father had done twice, creating a culture, developing the vision, and providing opportunities for young people, as others had done for me years earlier, including, despite advice to the contrary, hiring a coach with no NHL experience to lead our expansion team, and then 25 years later, hiring the same Barry Trotz for his first GM job, succeeding me in Smashville. And I would not be receiving this honor tonight without the villages of friends that I have worked with and called teammates in every organization throughout my career: owners, executive, players, hockey ops, business ops. I stand here because so many shared my passion and dedication to our mission. I am truly grateful. In 1972, when I first started, I certainly could never envision working for a team in Nashville, Tennessee, and ultimately drafting a player who played youth hockey in that market, as we did with Blake Jeffreyon, the grandson of Hall of Famer Boom Boom Jeffreyon, who has also been our first coach in Atlanta. What has always made our game special and unique is the people on and off the ice. The game has never been better. More people and countries are playing, more fans are watching. The game is bigger than all of us individually. My years in the game have brought me lifelong friends as we shared our mutual love of the game. As we go forward, I am reminded of my father's Hall of Fame acceptance speech, where he cautioned it was up to the people in the game to protect it, continue to keep the game's best interest as a priority, build on the foundation laid by those that came before us, and always leave the game better than when we started. That responsibility and obligation was true then, and it remains true today for all of us who love this game. I have been so fortunate to have spent my entire professional career in the game of hockey. I have poured my heart and soul into the game, but hockey has given me and my family so much more. Thank you, hockey. Thank you to my family. Thank you to my friends. Thank you.